Valley of the End, bursting out of the forest at full speed, Naruto's eyes finally locked onto the one he had been chasing, Sasuke Uchiha, standing proudly atop one of the ancient statues overlooking the roaring waterfall. After hours of relentless pursuit, Naruto skidded to a stop on the opposing statue, the massive torrent separating the two rivals. Breathing heavily, he steadied himself and called out. Sasuke, the boy in question, had been facing away the whole time, but at the sound of Naruto's voice, he slowly turned. His skin bore the curse mark's taint, one eye darkened unnaturally, and his gaze was filled with disdain as he stared down the loud-mouthed shinobi. So it's you, the same worthless fool as always. Sasuke's voice dripped with mockery. She sent you, didn't she? Just like I told Sakura, this is the end. Leave me alone. He wasn't asking. It was a statement, certain that Sakura had begged Naruto to bring him back. In his mind, Sasuke already knew how this would go. Naruto would plead, beg, and try to guilt him into returning. But Sasuke's decision had been made long ago, and nothing would sway him. What he didn't anticipate, however, was the sudden sound of chuckling. Then laughter. Low at first, but soon growing louder, darker, until it echoed through the valley. The tone wasn't the Naruto he remembered. It was unsettling, foreign, like he was facing an entirely different person. After nearly a minute, Naruto's laughter stopped. He straightened his back, his eyes sharp, and his lips twisted into a cruel smile. The sight alone made Sasuke's stomach tighten. You've got it wrong, Sasuke, Naruto said with an unsettling calm. If anything, I'd love to never see your face again. Sasuke's eyes widened slightly. But there's something you have that I need, something I've worked too hard to just let slip away. What the hell are you talking about, Dobi? Sasuke snapped irritably. You're not even making sense. Is this some kind of sick joke? Naruto chuckled again, shaking his head. Oh, Sasuke, I'm done with jokes. His grin widened before his figure blurred and vanished from sight. This is who I really am. Before Sasuke could react, pain exploded across his body as Naruto's kick smashed him into the stone statue, the impact leaving cracks where his body was lodged. Sasuke screamed, nearly feeling his spine shatter. What the hell? Sasuke gasped, staggering upright as Naruto strolled toward him casually. How did you this power? It feels like him. His mind jumped to Itachi. Only his brother had ever made him feel this powerless. Naruto's eyes gleamed. Don't flatter yourself. I'm nothing like your precious Itachi. He tilted his head mockingly. I'll admit you've gotten stronger with that cursed seal, but alive or not, it changes nothing. You've got what I came for. You're wasting your time, Sasuke growled, forcing himself steady. I'm done with Konoha, done with childish games. I'm going to Orochimaru and you can't stop me. Naruto smirked, amused. Who said I wanted to stop you? Sasuke blinked in confusion. I don't care if you crawl to Orochimaru like a dog. What I want from you has nothing to do with the leaf. So why not save yourself the pain and hand it over? Whatever you're after, you'll have to take it by force. Sasuke roared, charging at him. As you wish, Naruto muttered, catching Sasuke's strike effortlessly. Good, I could use a warm-up. Before Sasuke could react, Naruto's fist rocketed upward, slamming into his chin and hurling him into the sky. Blood sprayed from his mouth as Naruto appeared midair, kicking him down with brutal force. Sasuke crashed into the earth, gasping in agony. Naruto landed lightly beside him. You know, after babysitting you, dragging you out of trouble, saving your life over and over, this feels incredible. Better than I imagined. Naruto grinned, grabbing Sasuke by the hair and yanking his face close. Still conscious. Don't tell me you're already finished. Why are you this strong? Sasuke croaked. Is it the 9 tails? Naruto's laugh was cold. No, Sasuke, this is me, my true power. That fox has nothing to do with it. His hand tightened around Sasuke's throat, lifting him higher. You have no idea how refreshing it feels to finally stop pretending. But I'm on a schedule, so hold still. I promise it won't hurt. Yin style, soul transfer. Sasuke's eyes widened as he felt something inside him, something deep, ancestral being pulled away. No pain, but a terrible emptiness, as if a piece of himself had been stolen. What did you take? Sasuke gasped weakly once Naruto released him, dropping him to the ground like a ragdoll. Naruto looked down with satisfaction. Nothing you'll miss. Just the lingering spirit of your ancestor, the parasite that's haunted your bloodline. The same kind of soul that once clung to me. Too battered to resist, Sasuke watched helplessly as Naruto clapped his hands. Yin-yang style, incarnation. Crimson chakra erupted, swallowing Naruto in a cocoon. Its heat was suffocating, searing Sasuke's skin and boiling his blood. It felt like standing at the edge of the sun. Then, with a blinding flash, the cocoon burst open. When Sasuke's vision returned, he was nearly speechless. Before him stood a man in his prime, lean yet powerful, silver-white hair framing a sharp face, and golden eyes that radiated an otherworldly brilliance. "So this is my true form," the figure mused, admiring himself. "En Naruto," Sasuke whispered, horrified. Naruto turned, smiling faintly. "Ah, you're still awake. Forgive the spectacle, it was unavoidable." He reached for a sealing scroll, pulling out a fresh set of clothes. A silver coat with crimson trim, a red shirt and black pants. No sign of Konoha anywhere. "What have you become?" Sasuke asked, barely standing. Naruto's eyes gleamed. "I've become free. Free of the leaf of the council's chains, of their will of fire nonsense. I'm no longer their tool, no longer their pawn. I've broken their hold, Sasuke." He stepped closer, his tone calm yet heavy with finality. "Like you said, my days of playing ninja with Konoha are over. I'm finally liberated." Sasuke's head spun. "You can't just betray the village like that," Naruto blinked, then laughed bitterly. "And why not? You think you're the only one allowed to walk away, while I should just endure their lies and hypocrisy." His expression hardened. "If anyone has reason to abandon that cursed place, it's me. My whole life there was torment. Sarutobi, the council, Jiraiya, Tsunade, Kakashi, all of them saw me as nothing but a weapon. A pawn for their village. For their so-called will of fire." His words dripped with venom as he nearly spat the phrase. Then, all this time, how long has this been going on?" Sasuke's voice shook, struggling to piece everything together. "How long have I hated this place?" Naruto's eyes narrowed. "Probably from the very moment I realized the village despised me. I returned that hate with equal measure. But if you're asking about tonight, about what I've set in motion, then the answer is 8 years, since I was 5. Since that night during one of their filthy fox hunts, when the villagers nearly ended me. That was when I met someone who revealed the truth of what I really was." "You mean the 9 tails?" Sasuke asked, his tone sharp, but Naruto only shook his head. "No, not the fox." His voice carried a bitter laugh. "The 4th sealed more than just the Kyuubi's essence into me. He locked away another being entirely, one that saved him and Kushina during that night so they could escape with their children." "That's right, Sasuke, they're alive, raising their precious Jinchuriki while I was abandoned here as nothing more than bait. A decoy. And inside me lies something else. Something that had its body and freedom stolen by those two. When I nearly died, I finally met her and we forged a pact." Sasuke frowned, still lost. "What are you talking about? What kind of being?" Naruto's lips curved into a dark smile. "Call it a contract if you want. She helps me break free from this wretched village, and in return, I help her reclaim what was taken from her. She isn't from our world, Sasuke. She existed long before shinobi ever walked this land. Even the Kyuubi pales beside her. Her name is Gremory. If you really want to know, ask Orochimaru when you crawl to him, he'll have plenty to say. And you're just letting me go." "After all this?" Sasuke pressed, disbelief etched on his face. "Like I told you, you can walk your own path." Naruto shrugged casually. "I've already taken what I needed." His gaze shifted upward, sharp as a blade. "Though I doubt they will be so willing to let you leave." Sasuke turned, following Naruto's line of sight. His eyes widened. Kakashi Hatake and Jiraiya stood frozen, horror clear on their faces. Naruto only smirked. "So, did you enjoy my little confession?" You knew we were here?" Sasuke asked. "Of course. Why else would I waste time explaining myself? Do you think I care whether you understand me? No, this was for them. I've been waiting for this moment." Naruto's grin widened as the two descended to the ground. "Do you even understand what you've done, Naruto?" Jiraiya demanded. "You can't possibly grasp the scale." "Grasp what?" "That I shattered your precious plan. That I spat on your prophecy and all of Konoha's sacrifices." Naruto's voice dripped venom. "That was my intention, old man, to make you suffer as I have. And I'm not finished yet. I still have the little darlings and their dear parents to pay a visit." His killing intent weighed heavy on the clearing. "Stop this madness. Minato and Kushina are your parents, those girls your sisters. They made a painful choice that night, but whatever lies that demon whispered, she's only using you. Jirya tried to reason, desperation in his tone. It's not too late. Come back with us and… Naruto cut him off, laughing bitterly. And what? Have my memories erased again? Be brainwashed by the Yamanaka or sealed like a weapon once more? Don't act like I don't know. Gremory shielded me from your tricks, otherwise I'd still be your stupid little pawn. Don't talk to me about being used, you're no different from her. There's still time to fix this, Kakashi stepped in, his voice firm but pleading. Come back with us, Naruto, you don't have to. You don't get it, Kakashi. Naruto's tone went cold. I made my choice a long time ago and I don't take back my decisions. He turned back to Sasuke. And you, Sasuke, I'll do you a favor. Consider it a gift. Give my regards to Orochimaru. Before Sasuke could react, Naruto placed a hand on his shoulder, and in an instant he vanished. Kakashi and Jiraiya's eyes widened in shock. What did you just do? Jiraiya demanded. Delivered him to the snake Sannin. Isn't that what he wanted? Naruto said, almost amused. After everything I've planned, I thought I'd be generous. Besides, it's always fun to spit in Konoha's face. You've sealed your fate, boy, Jiraiya snapped as he and Kakashi braced themselves. You might have beaten Sasuke, but you're still far too young to stand against us. Give yourself up, Naruto, Kakashi warned. If you surrender now, Lady Hawkeye may show mercy. Don't force us to end this. Naruto laughed darkly. Mercy? No, you'll be lucky to survive me. His hands blurred through seals. But I don't have time to waste here, so here's a parting gift. Would release. Deep forest emergence. The ground tore open as colossal trees erupted skyward, swallowing the valley of the end. The statues of Madara and Hashirama crumbled beneath the force of the new forest. Rivers vanished under roots, waterfalls smothered by towering trunks that stretched for miles, shaking the earth. It was as though Hashirama himself had returned. Jiraiya and Kakashi struggled against crushing vines until, at the last moment, Jiraiya summoned Gamabunta. The massive toad appeared, straining in the choking forest. Damn it, Jiraiya, where the hell did you drag me? I can't even move in this cursed jungle, Gamabunta roared. No time to argue. Get us to Mount Mayaboku and send word to Minato and Tsunade. Jiraiya's voice was grave. Naruto, he's gone rogue. That brat, the one who could barely summon me without the fox's help. What's the threat? Gamabunta scoffed. He was always just a decoy. Minato's kids carry the real power. Jiraiya's face darkened. Bunta, this forest, it's his doing. He's been hiding his strength for years. And worse, he's allied with Gremory. At that name, Gamabunta froze, his tone shifting to fear. Gremory, are you insane? We were warned never to cross demons of her caliber, and you fools sealed her inside the boy after stripping her power. What did you think would happen? Just move, Jiraiya barked, dread tightening his chest. If we don't hurry, only the gods know what he'll do next. Namikaze Mansion, later just beyond the fire capital, stood the Namikaze estate. Not the grandest mansion among the nobles, but compared to Konoha's clan compounds, it was vast and striking. The Namikaze, once wandering shinobi, had risen to prominence serving the daimyo directly, gaining wealth and independence outside the Hokage's reach. Like the Hyuga, they bore divisions of main and branch families, an old scar from a clan civil war. The victors became rulers, the defeated, servants. That hierarchy still lingered. Minato, once born to the branch side, had clawed his way up, securing a place among the main family and sparing his daughters the chains of servitude. He had risen not just as a clan head, but as the fourth Hokage, beloved by the world, but with shadows buried deep in the past. Centuries of corruption, ambition, and the arrogance of those in power had shattered whatever unity once existed within the mighty Namikaze clan. What remained was a fragile house of cards, needing only a single spark to collapse into ruin. And that spark was approaching the clan's gates in the form of Naruto Uzumaki. His aura radiated something both terrifying and majestic, and 5 Namikaze guards tensed as they spotted him drawing closer. Their leader stepped forward, eyes hard with arrogance as he blocked Naruto's path. Stop where you are, stranger. You dare set foot on Namikaze soil? You're not welcome here. His hand gripped the hilt of his blade, his tone dripping disdain. This is your only warning, turn back before I cut you down. Naruto didn't flinch. His calm voice carried an edge sharper than any sword. I'm afraid I can't leave. I have business with certain members of your clan. But since you don't appear inclined to let me pass peacefully, I'll ask you one thing instead. Are you of the branch family or the main line? The guard blinked in confusion at the question before sneering. What difference does it make to you? But since you'll be dead soon, I'll humor you. I am Kenta Namikaze, keeper of the gates, loyal son of the main family, commander of these branch whelps. And it is I who will take your head. Naruto's lips curved into a faint smile. That's all I needed to know, thank you. The next instant, Kenta's body was hurled through the gates like a rag doll, crashing into the compound as nothing more than shattered bone and torn flesh. The other guards didn't even have time to move. Naruto's genjutsu locked them in place as he walked past the ruined gates, stepping calmly into the Namikaze compound. The dust cleared, revealing the clan's full fighting force assembled in the courtyard. Dozens of armed shinobi stood ready. At their head was a man whose age and features echoed Minato's, his presence radiating authority. His eyes burned with cold disdain as he addressed Naruto. You must be suicidal to come here. Not even in the Great Wars did anyone dare invade us so openly. Whatever you came seeking, you will find only death. Make peace with your life, mongrel. Naruto's expression remained relaxed, almost mocking. Half right. Minato and Kushina are absent, but their children remain within these walls, a minor disappointment, but they're the ones I came for. I'll claim them regardless. The clan head's face twisted in fury as he drew an ornate blade, his clansmen readying their weapons beside him. Arrogant fool, I am Yorinobu Namikaze, the golden lion of our clan. I have fought 100 battles, and not once has an enemy wounded me. You will. His words died on his tongue as a crimson, barbed chain burst through his chest, punching clean out his back. Naruto's adamantine chain retracted with a flick of his wrist, only to lash out again, scything through the gathered main family like a butcher's blade. A dozen heads fell in an instant. Another sweep of his chain strung dozens more through the heart, their bodies suspended grotesquely before collapsing lifeless to the ground. Naruto glanced to one side, his voice calm. Does this fulfill my end of our arrangement, Haruto? A man stepped forward, kunai already buried in the heart of another main family member. His voice carried conviction. It does, now it's our turn, the courtyard erupted. Haruto Namikaze, the younger brother of Minato and leader of the oppressed branch family, gave the signal. Branch members, long shackled and mistreated, turned their blades on the unsuspecting main line. Screams filled the air as betrayal struck swift and merciless. Naruto stood amid the chaos, watching with amusement until silence fell once more. You weren't exaggerating when you said your people were thirsty for blood, Naruto remarked, eyeing the carnage. No regrets. Haruto's expression was grim but resolute. For centuries, they enslaved our mothers, daughters, and sisters, selling them for coin, while our men toiled as little more than cattle. Minato promised change, but chose to rule as one of them instead. So no regrets. Unlike him, you kept your word. Naruto chuckled softly. Keeping promises is one of the few luxuries I allow myself. His tone hardened. The twins are gone, aren't they? Evacuated? You see through everything. Yes. As soon as you appeared, Yorinobu had them taken to a hidden safe house. Only Minato, Kushina, and their closest know the location. I couldn't give you what I didn't have. Naruto waved it off with confidence. Not an issue. I already accounted for that. Soon enough, it won't matter. His gaze shifted as two new figures entered the courtyard. And in the meantime, I'll amuse myself with them. Minato and Kushina had arrived, their faces hardened as they took in the massacre. So Jiraiya wasn't lying. Minato's voice was tight with fury. Naruto, not only have you betrayed the village, you've slaughtered your own clan. My son has become worse than scum. Naruto smirked at him. Spare me the self-righteousness. After everything the leaf put me through, did you really think I wouldn't break away? You stopped being my parents long ago. The only bond we share now is the suffering you cursed me with since birth. And I'm here to collect what's owed. What is it you want, Naruto? Kushina demanded, chains of chakra beginning to uncoil behind her. Revenge leads only to loneliness. Give up now. Between my chains, Minato's jutsu, and our clan, even Madara himself would fall here. Naruto chuckled darkly. You overestimate yourselves. Isn't that right, Haruto? Haruto stepped forward, and the betrayal was plain in Minato's widening eyes. The surviving Namikaze shifted. and it became clear where their loyalties lay. "No, Haruto, how could you?" Minato's voice cracked with disbelief. "You sided with Naruto against your own blood. What did he offer you? Power, wealth, forbidden jutsu? Only what you once promised our mother and me. Freedom from the tyranny of the main line. Unlike you, Naruto delivered." Haruto spat the words like venom. "Bastard!" Kushina's hair split into fiery strands, tails whipping with fury. "I'll bury you and your kin alive." Her golden chains shot forward, only to be torn apart instantly by a single strike of Naruto's. He hadn't even broken a sweat. His smile was cruel. "Your fight is with me, Kushina. Not Haruto. I suggest you retreat now, because soon this place will become hell." "Not at all. Do as you will, Naruto," Haruto said calmly, gesturing for the entire Namikaze clan to withdraw. They obeyed without hesitation, vanishing swiftly from the compound until the grounds were abandoned, leaving only Naruto and his birth parents standing in silence within several miles of emptiness. "I must ask, Naruto, what exactly is your purpose here today?" Minato questioned, his voice carrying both curiosity and tension. "Do you believe that striking us down will accomplish anything? You've already turned your back on the leaf, aided its enemies, and even brought your hand against your teacher and one of the Sannin. By every measure, you are no different from Itachi Uchiha. Do you think the leaf, or the other nations, will ever forgive such betrayal?" Naruto's lips curled into a smirk. "Oh, Minato, I'm not here to take your lives. Since both you and Kushina are so desperate to know, I'll tell you. I came for the very same reason that masked man nearly destroyed you years ago." Minato and Kushina's eyes widened. "You seek the 9 tails," Kushina muttered, her hand tightening around her blade. "You intend to release it and let the beast annihilate Konoha. Is that what your master wants of you? Naruto, if you rip the beast from its vessel, the host will die. Unless, of course, they possess the resilience of an Uzumaki," Naruto interrupted with a cold smile. "Naturally, I'm aware. But no, I don't plan to simply unleash it in a mindless rampage. What fragments of the fox's chakra remain inside me have been useful, but I require its full might for what lies ahead. That's why I'm here." "Then you've wasted your effort," Minato replied sharply. "If you were truly as informed as you think, you would know your sisters aren't here. By now, they're already halfway back to the village. All you're left with is us." In a flash, Minato hurled his kunai and shot forward with blinding speed. Naruto countered instantly, charging head-on. The kunai barely grazed past his cheek as both father and son formed Raisengans. Just as Naruto prepared to drive his attack into Minato, the fourth vanished from sight, reappearing above him, replicating the very maneuver that had saved Konoha 13 years earlier. Minato slammed his Rasengan into Naruto's back, driving him into the earth with crushing force, the explosion of power shaking the ground. When the dust settled, Minato stood at the bottom of a crater, staring down at what looked like Naruto's broken corpse. But then slow, mocking claps echoed. Both he and Kushina turned their heads in shock to see Naruto alive, just meters away, grinning as he applauded. The body in the crater dissolved into nothing more than a clone. So that was the fabled flying Raijin combined with Rasengan. "Remarkable," Naruto said with a final clap. "I can see how it would end anyone caught unprepared. But I had 8 years to study every move of yours, and Gremory kindly filled in the rest." "Impossible," Kushina gasped, her chakra sense flaring. "That wasn't a mere clone, it carried too much power. Jiraiya told us you never learned how to balance chakra among clones properly." Naruto chuckled darkly. "It seems everything you thought you knew about me was nothing but a convenient lie. As for shadow clones, I've long since mastered them, long before I even touched that scroll." With a snap of his fingers, 20 more clones materialized, circling the couple like predators. "Throwing numbers at me won't change the outcome," Minato declared, drawing his kunai once more. "No matter what you try, you cannot win today." Naruto smirked. "Oh, Minato, if only you knew." Every clone formed the same hand seal at once. Recognition flashed across Minato and Kushina's faces. With no hesitation, Minato rushed to his wife. A heartbeat later, the Namikaze compound erupted in a hellish blaze. The explosions leveled forests within 3 miles, scorching everything within a mile to ash. The once-proud grounds were reduced to a burning wasteland. But Minato had reacted in time. In a burst of teleportation, he and Kushina reappeared within a hidden safe house, gasping for breath. This was the location they had prepared in the worst-case scenario, known only to the closest circle, or so they had thought. Before either could act, chains of crimson light burst forth, pinning them against the wall. Each link pierced through their shoulders, paralyzing their arms. Pain racked their bodies as they lifted their gaze. Naruto stood before them, smiling calmly. On the floor behind him lay Mito and Narumi, unconscious, while their guards lay lifeless around them. "You certainly took your time," Naruto said lightly, glancing at his sisters. "A pity you missed the reunion. They didn't take the news of my return well, and I had to convince them otherwise." You drained your own sisters," Minato gasped, struggling against the chains. "They're alive, just considerably lighter in chakra," Naruto replied without emotion. "And don't bother struggling. My chains aren't like Kushina's, they not only bind but sever your control over chakra entirely. Right now, both of you are as helpless as I once was years ago." "What now?" Kushina hissed through the pain. "Will you prove yourself nothing but a monster and kill us?" The chains pulsed, sending waves of agony through their nervous systems. Minato and Kushina cried out, their bodies alight with unbearable torment. "Tempting," Naruto admitted, his tone almost playful. "Even Gremory urges me to end you here, but no, death would be a mercy. I'll decide when you're allowed that release." For now, in a blur, the chains severed both their right arms, dropping the bloody limbs to the ground as they collapsed in anguish. "Naruto," Minato gritted his teeth, his voice breaking. "Whatever your plan is, we will stop you. You and that demon will not succeed. Konoha will hunt you down." Naruto crouched to meet his father's gaze, smiling viciously. "Then by all means try. Jiraiya and Kakashi are already on their way. Do your best not to bleed out before they arrive, or it'll spoil the fun. Until next time." With that, he vanished in an instant, leaving the pair in a pool of their own blood. 3 days later, Konoha Hospital. 3 days had passed since the disaster, yet the shock still rippled through the village. The leaders finally understood the scale of Naruto's deception. The boy they once dismissed as a fool had outplayed them all. If the art of shinobi was deception, Naruto had perfected it, surpassing even the great tricksters of legend. He had fooled the entire village, from civilians to counselors to the Hokage himself. Now, Konoha faced a crisis unlike any since Madara's era. Their greatest weapon, the might of the Nine Tails, was gone. To make matters worse, both Minato and Kushina had been left crippled, their missing arms a constant reminder of their defeat. Though they managed to keep the truth about the beast's extraction hidden, it was only a matter of time before the world learned the truth. Naruto had vanished without a trace, taking the Kyuubi's full power with him, and no one knew what he intended to do next. Inside the hospital wing, where Minato and Kushina were recovering, a small group had gathered: Tsunade, Jiraiya, Kakashi, and the couple themselves. The air was heavy with tension as everyone tried to make sense of the situation. It was Minato who finally broke the silence, his eyes fixed on his former master and comrade. "Any news on Naruto's whereabouts?" he asked directly. Both Jiraiya and Tsunade shook their heads. "Nothing. It's like he vanished into thin air," Tsunade admitted grimly. "We sent ANBU squads all over, land of waves, land of waterfalls, land of wind, every possible place. They came back with nothing. The boy covered his tracks too well. He knew exactly where we'd search and left no hint behind." "He's not a boy anymore," Jiraiya muttered, sounding more weary than angry. "I even tried reverse summoning him to Mount Myaboku, but his name had completely disappeared from the summoning scroll. Just gone like it had never been there. When I showed it to Ma and Pa, they were just as stunned. No one has ever seen a summoner break a contract like that before. Under ordinary circumstances maybe, but with Gremory involved, it's possible," Kushina cut in bitterly. "Even weakened, she knows things that outstrip most of Konoha's knowledge. Mito was right. Her understanding of forbidden arts might exceed all of our scrolls combined." Kakashi finally spoke up, his voice calm but questioning. "If she's that dangerous, then why was she sealed inside Naruto in the first place? Was there truly no other way?" Minato exhaled slowly, looking worn. "There wasn't. That night, Kushina had summoned Gremory as part of her contract, while I called upon the Shinigami. We bargained Gremory's existence in exchange for sealing the Nine Tails. The deal was struck." Kyubai's essence was split 3 ways, with Naruto holding the soul, but the Shinigami also sealed Gremory's spirit inside him. Demons, like tailed beasts, can eventually reform even after destruction. We thought the seal would prevent contact between them, but clearly we underestimated her reach. Kakashi's expression darkened. Naruto once said he'd been preparing since the age of 5. I remember now. On his 5th birthday, the villagers nearly killed him. They beat him so badly he slipped into clinical death. The ANBU reacted too late. He spent months in a coma. Could that have been when Gremory first connected with him? Minato nodded slowly. That's very possible. The trauma could have weakened the seal, or maybe she found a loophole. One way or another she reached him, and without her, Naruto wouldn't be where he is today. But he played his role too well, Jiraiya interjected. All those years, he fooled us, acting the clown until he was ready. Why reveal his hand now? Why wait this long if he had everything planned? It wasn't his true form we saw, Kakashi said firmly. Remember, the surge of chakra only came after he confronted Sasuke. Whatever transformation he triggered, it happened there. It's likely he used Sasuke's chakra as a catalyst. Even so, that level of power couldn't have come just from Sasuke. Jiraiya frowned. And don't forget, Naruto used wood release, specifically deep forest emergence. That was the first Hokage's technique. No one alive could have taught him that. The only place with that knowledge was the Forbidden Scroll, which he already stole, Tsunade revealed flatly, shocking the room. I checked myself, the scroll we had was nothing but a fake under Genjutsu. The night he borrowed it, he switched it. Hiruzen never realized it. So the real scroll, Minato pressed. We got it back briefly, Tsunade said, but when ANBU opened it, the thing incinerated itself. Naruto left it in his old apartment, like a final message. He didn't need it anymore, and neither would we. Jiraiya groaned. That brat, when did he even have the time? He was under watch constantly. Shadow clones, Kushina answered. Everyone turned to her. He admitted he learned the jutsu long before stealing the scroll. With his chakra reserves, even as a child, he could create enough clones to train in secret. If he mastered them, he would have easily perfected transformation and other techniques without anyone noticing. Jiraiya gave a reluctant nod. Makes sense. He could have his clones training, studying, even helping Haruto's rebellion. Which reminds me, what's the situation with Haruto and his group? Tsunade sighed heavily. I was going to send forces against them, but the Fire Daimyo himself intervened. Haruto presented evidence of the main family secretly siding with Fire's enemies, preparing a coup. The Daimyo declared Haruto and his branch heroes for stopping it. Now, if we act against them, it would look like we were involved in the conspiracy ourselves. Minato clenched his fists. That means Haruto now leads the Namikaze clan, and Naruto has him as an ally. This was all planned with Gremory's help. The worst part, they didn't even have to fabricate evidence. So there really is proof you were connected to the coup, Tsunade pressed. There is, Minato admitted grimly. But Naruto chose not to expose it, at least not yet. Kushina's eyes widened slightly. And the chains, Naruto's chains are unlike any Uzumaki I've seen, yet familiar somehow. In Uzu's old stories, there was talk of a queen who transcended death and trained disciples with a crimson spear. Those who survived became unmatched warriors. What if Naruto? You think he became one of her disciples? Tsunade asked, stunned. Given everything, it's not impossible, Kushina said firmly. But what unsettles me most is his true aim. He has the full Kyuubi now. With that kind of strength, why vanish instead of attacking? Perhaps he's after something bigger, Kakashi offered. The Akatsuki's plan, maybe? No, Kushina's face paled, her voice trembling as realization hit her. I should have seen it. It's been obvious all along. Kushina, what is it? Minato asked urgently. Naruto, she whispered, her fear plain. He intends to bring Gremory back. That's why he needed the Nine Tails. Meanwhile, on the Isle of Uzu, once a flourishing home of the proud Uzumaki clan, the birthplace of sealing arts and warriors feared across nations, the island now lay in ruins, a graveyard of broken stone and memories. The combined might of 4 great villages had wiped them out, yet even so, the clan's name carried weight. Naruto stood among the shattered remains, a faint smile tugging at his lips. It wasn't malice but pride. Few things mattered to him as much as his name, and here he was, standing at its origin. In this desolate place, he was about to attempt something only a true Uzumaki could hope to achieve. Even after more than 8 years had gone by, Naruto always knew the final stage of his plan would be carried out here, on the very island he had dreamed of seeing one day. A place he was certain Konoha would never bother to look for him. The truth was, there was nothing left of value here anymore. No secret techniques to plunder, no Uzumaki clan to exploit, just silence. The ruins of Uzu had long since been abandoned, fading from memory. That made it the perfect place for Naruto to carve out a hidden sanctuary. Through his clones, he quietly built a base of operations, one stocked with everything he would ever need to stand apart from the rest of the world. Setting this up without arousing suspicion had been no small feat, but things moved much faster once he seized control of Gado's empire and all its shipping routes back in Wave, without anyone even realizing what had happened. If only Konoha, Tsunade, or anyone else understood the truth, that Naruto was not only far more cunning than they assumed, but had secretly amassed wealth and influence beyond their imaginations. From the shadows, he had become a silent mogul, engaging in trade and enterprises across nations. Thanks to Gremory's lessons, he learned to operate under countless false names and masks, giving him a steady stream of resources to fuel his ambitions. By the time he was ready to graduate, his fortune already rivaled that of Konoha's most powerful clans combined. But of course, he couldn't reveal that, not yet. He had to keep up his facade until the time came to take what he truly sought from Konoha, or rather, from Sasuke, the soul of Indra Otsutsuki. It was Gremory who had opened his eyes to Indra and Ashura, their endless feud, and the cycle of reincarnation. She revealed to him a way not only to sever Ashura's hold over him, but also to claim both brothers' powers for himself. Under her guidance, Naruto underwent years of painful and precise spiritual reconstruction, unraveling Ashura's essence from within and threading its gifts into his own being. By the time his pact with Gremory reached completion, just before his graduation, Naruto was no longer bound to Ashura's will. He already knew Sasuke carried Indra's soul, and though eager, he chose patience, waiting for the perfect time to strike, all while strengthening himself in secret. During that time, he immersed himself in the mysteries of the Forbidden Scroll, studying everything it concealed: would release, reanimation, and countless other dangerous arts. Fortune then smiled upon him when Sasuke chose to abandon Konoha for Orochimaru. Naruto took his chance, seizing Indra's soul in the shadows, completing one of his greatest objectives, merging the power of both Ashura and Indra into himself. With his body prepared by Ashura's essence, Naruto was able to take in Indra's might all at once. In that moment, he was reborn, cut loose from the bonds of Konoha, unshackled from the shadow of his so-called parents. He was no longer the boy they knew, but something entirely new. Now, with every piece finally in his grasp, Naruto stood ready to unleash his grand design. Forming the seals, he invoked a jutsu long forbidden. Forbidden summoning. Reaper, he commanded. The ground split open, and from the void emerged the Shinigami itself, towering above him with the weight of death. "You have summoned me, Naruto Uzumaki. State your demand," the god of death intoned, its voice chilling enough to freeze the soul. "Lord Shinigami," Naruto replied, unwavering, "I come with an exchange. You hold something I desire, and I hold what you crave." His eyes burned with determination. "I ask that you restore the body of the one known as Gremory and return the Black Hound of Destruction, Barghest, to this world." The Shinigami's eyes glowed with interest. "The Demon Duchess and the Black Hound, powerful souls I have claimed. What do you offer in return?" "The souls of Indra and Ashura, the brothers who defied your judgment for centuries," Naruto declared. "And the Kyuubi. Its soul as well, should you grant me an additional favor." The Shinigami tilted its head. "You, who now wield the strength of both brothers, also dare bargain with the greatest of tailed beasts. Speak. What is this boon you request?" Naruto's voice was steady, unshaken. "Immunity. Should anyone dare call upon you against me, I want my soul to remain untouchable until my time ends naturally." For a moment, silence. Then the Shinigami let out a deep, otherworldly laugh. "A rare request, but one I accept. You are bold, Naruto Uzumaki." With a spectral arm, the Shinigami pulled the souls of Indra, Ashura, and the Kyuubi's essence from Naruto. In return, two forms emerged: a massive beastly husk resembling a horned hound and the lifeless body of a breathtaking red-haired woman. "Our bargain is sealed," the Shinigami said before fading back into the void. Naruto stood over the two bodies, his eyes gleaming. "Then let us finish this. Yin-yang release, reincarnation." Unleashing the Kyuubi's stored might, he channeled pure creation into the corpses before him. The island quaked violently under the surge of power, energy shaking the air itself. What even the Sage of Six Paths had never accomplished, Naruto now attempted. And then, success. The horn of the black beast reformed, its howl splitting the skies as its body reshaped into a woman of radiant strength, long golden hair cascading down her back, one eye crimson and the other sea green. Nearby, Gremory stirred, her turquoise eyes fluttering open as life returned to her frame. Barghest was the first to speak, awe in her voice. "I truly breathe again." She looked at Gremory, then back to Naruto. "Only someone of your magnitude could achieve this, milady." Gremory laughed softly, her gaze turning to Naruto with warmth and hunger. "No, Barghest, the one worthy of praise is him." She stepped forward, her tones sultry. "You've done it, my love." With that, she pressed her lips against Naruto's. Barghest soon followed, embracing him with equal passion, finally able to touch the one she had long yearned for. As Naruto basked in the affection of the two revived beings, a ripple spread across the world, an omen of a change no nation could stop. The forgotten name of Uzumaki was about to echo once again, louder than ever. Naruto's inner world, age. 5. The last thing Naruto recalled before awakening was the mob, their screams, their hatred, their blows. Beatings were nothing new to him, but this time was different. This time, the villagers wanted him dead, and he was sure they had succeeded. When his eyes opened again, he wasn't in Konoha. The sky above burned crimson, and around him lay a twisted, decayed version of the village he once knew. Its warped streets and ruined structures looked like something from a nightmare, but to Naruto, the sight felt oddly familiar, almost natural. "Where am I? Where's everyone? What is this place?" he muttered, his small hands trembling. "Did someone take me?" "No, child, you were not taken." From the mist ahead, a figure emerged, a stunning woman with flowing red hair, clad in elegant robes that radiated nobility. Her presence was overwhelming, almost divine. "This is not a prison, Naruto," she said gently. "This is your inner world, a landscape shaped by your feelings, your pain, and your memories. Think of it as a reflection of your mind itself." Naruto stared, wide-eyed, barely able to grasp her words. Okay," Naruto muttered nervously. "So, if this is my mind then, are you the Kyuubi? Did you drag me in here?" His voice carried both fear and curiosity, remembering how the villagers had often shouted that the nine-tailed fox was sealed inside him. The mysterious woman before him only gave a soft laugh before replying. "No, I am not the beast those fools call a demon," she said with calm authority. "My name is Gremory, Naruto. Unlike that crude monster they whisper about, I am what one could call a true demon." Her voice was filled with a certain pride as she declared her nature. Naruto stared at her in shock, but strangely, not in fear. "Interesting," Gremory mused, tilting her head slightly. "Most mortals tend to tremble or scream when they learn what I am, but you simply look surprised." "What's that supposed to mean?" Naruto asked cautiously. "My apologies," she said after a moment of thought. "You are still just a child. I meant that usually humans react with terror, not calm confusion." Naruto blinked, then gave a faint smile that didn't reach his eyes. "I guess I'm not like the others then." His tone carried quiet sadness. Gremory's expression softened. She placed her hand gently on his cheek, her voice filled with warmth. "No one is meant to be like everyone else, Naruto. You are unique. Be proud of that, because no one else in existence will ever be you." Her words eased something inside him, but then she continued, "And yes, to answer your earlier question, I brought you here. As for why, I must tell you something difficult. The people who attacked you this time went further than before. Your body was struck down. You died, Naruto, but I managed to pull your spirit into this space, keeping you alive." Naruto's eyes widened, and his breath caught in his throat. Killed they killed me." He staggered back, his small frame trembling. I only ever wanted to be loved, Tita matter. I never wanted to hurt anyone, and yet they." His words dissolved into choked sobs as he shook violently. Immediately, Gremory knelt in front of him, cupping his face with both hands. Her gaze locked onto his. "Naruto, look at me, only me, listen to my voice." Her tone was calm yet firm, anchoring him. "You did nothing wrong. You never harmed them. You are not the Kyuubi. You are an innocent child who has been wronged by selfish, arrogant people. Their cruelty is not your burden to carry." She guided his breathing. In and out, steady now. Bit by bit, Naruto's panic eased, his sobs quieting. Gremory released him gently and led him to a nearby bench, sitting with him. "Thank you," Naruto whispered. "No one's ever said anything like that to me." Then he glanced at her, almost hesitantly. Are you really a demon?" Her lips curved into a small smile. "That is what your kind calls beings like me. But truly, I am simply different. My nature is beyond what most can understand, so they label it as demon. But not all demons are evil, just as not all humans are good. I at least do not measure myself by your world's idea of morality." "Then why are you inside me?" Naruto asked softly. Gremory's expression darkened. "Because less than an hour after your birth, I was sealed within you, alongside the soul of the Kyuubi. And it was your very parents who did this." Naruto froze, eyes wide. "Yes, Naruto, I know who they are. I will tell you everything, but you must promise me something first. Do not interrupt, do not argue. Listen until I finish. This is not for me, but for your sake." I promise," Naruto said, swallowing hard. And so Gremory began her tale. She spoke of how she once served as a familiar bound to Mito Uzumaki, the first Jinchuriki of the Nine Tails, and later to Kushina Uzumaki, Naruto's mother. She revealed the truth about the tailed beasts, the night of Naruto's birth, and the existence of his sisters, Natsumi and Narumi. She described Minato Namikaze, his father, who fought the masked man and the raging Kyuubi. "During that night," Gremory continued, "your mother summoned me through our contract to aid Minato against the fox. Though I despised her, I obeyed. I unleashed my strength against the beast, while your father summoned the Shinigami itself. He bargained away my freedom and my power, so he could split the Kyuubi, its chakra sealed into your sisters, and its soul forced into you. As part of the deal, my own essence was sacrificed and bound into you as well. I have been trapped here ever since, powerless but aware, watching everything around you." Her tone grew bitter. "Afterwards, your parents, along with Jiraiya, Tsunade, the Third Hokage, and the Council, decided your fate. Your sisters would be trained as heirs of the Namikaze clan, wielders of the Kyuubi's chakra. And you would remain here, the decoy Jinchuriki, a distraction, a scapegoat. They abandoned you for the sake of their precious village. That is the truth, Naruto." Naruto sat in stunned silence, his heart pounding. "They're alive and they left me," Gremory nodded solemnly. "But why were they afraid of that masked man?" "Partially," she admitted. "But more than fear, it was loyalty to Konoha. To them, the will of fire outweighed even love for their child. They told themselves it was for the greater good, but in truth, they put ambition and duty above you. Whether they care now, I do not know." Naruto clenched his fists. "If they cared, they wouldn't have done this in the first place." His voice was sharp with pain. "And the old man Hokage, the council, they all knew. Why did they let this happen to me?" His anguish made the inner world tremble. "Because, Naruto," Gremory said calmly, "people prefer lies that keep them comfortable over truths that bring responsibility. The council protected their power. The villagers needed someone to blame, so they chose you, the perfect scapegoat. To them, you are not a child, not even a person." Naruto's voice was hollow when he asked, "Then what am I to them?" "A tool. A weapon. Something to be used until you are no longer needed," Gremory said softly. "They will never let you be free, Naruto. Even now, as your body is being carried to the hospital, the Hokage will act to keep you bound. He will ensure your loyalty at any cost." Naruto's stomach twisted. He'll erase my memory." "And more," Gremory said gravely. "They have already placed seals upon you since childhood, seals that dulled your mind, reinforced blind loyalty, and tied your dreams to Konoha. That is why you clung so strongly to the idea of becoming Hokage. It was not entirely your own will, it was their design. But now, because your body briefly died, those seals weakened. That is how I could reach you, and why I can now shield you from them." Naruto stared at her, stunned beyond words. For the first time in his life, someone had told him the truth. "Wait, if you're really one of the strongest demons, why are you stuck here?" Shouldn't you just be able to leave? Naruto asked, confusion written across his face. Under normal circumstances, yes, I could have returned to my own realm and regained both my full body and my strength. But because of the seal placed upon me, I can't. Gremory explained, her tone calm but edged with frustration. Even though I am the demon Duchess of Knowledge, able to decipher and comprehend any kind of information, I cannot undo a seal placed by the Shinigami himself. Right now, I am nothing but a faint shadow of who I once was. It shames me to admit this, but to even use a fraction of my power, I must siphon chakra from either you or the Kyuubi. Just summoning you here and forging this connection between us has cost me every bit of energy I've been saving. Naruto thought about her words carefully before speaking again. Then why bring me here? If I had died, wouldn't that have set you free? It would have, Gremory admitted without hesitation. But that is not how I wish to gain my freedom. I refuse to betray the legacy of the Uzumaki. Believe it or not, your ancestor, Minashiro, the third son of the Sage of Six Paths, was the first to make a pact with me. I stood by his side during the outbreak of war between Indra and Ashura. Ever since then, I've had a deep respect for the Uzumaki. Their will, their ideals, I admired them. That's why I entered into contracts with several of your clan throughout history. My last pact was with Mito, whom I respected dearly. But your mother, Kushina, Gremory's expression hardened. She is a hypocrite, and I intend to settle that debt one day. So that's what this is about, Naruto asked, already suspecting the truth. You want me to help you get revenge? You're partly right, Gremory said with a sly smile. I do want vengeance. But more than that, I want to help you. I've always been fond of your clan, Naruto, and I despise the shinobi of Konoha not only for what they've done to you, but for what they did to the Uzumaki as a whole. That's why I want to form a pact with you. A contract, Naruto tilted his head. Didn't you already have one with Kushina? Gremory's eyes narrowed at the mention of her. Naruto quickly raised his hands. Sorry, didn't mean it like that. It's fine, but understand this. A demon's pact with a summoner is nothing like the contracts shinobi make with summons. When we form a contract, I don't just become a creature you can call upon, I become a partner. You gain access to my knowledge and abilities, and in return, you must also safeguard my interests. It's a bond of mutual respect and shared power. Kushina betrayed that bond. By doing so, she sent a message to every demon familiar who considered the Uzumaki, that she could not be trusted. But if you accept me, Naruto, you will gain access to my vast knowledge that rivals even the greatest demons and gods. From shinobi arts to sciences and mysteries beyond this world, I will share it all with you. Naruto frowned slightly. And in exchange, you want my help with your revenge? Her smile deepened. That and more. I want to reclaim my body and my power from the Shinigami, and with your help I can. I already know a way. If you form this pact with me, I'll not only guide you to that goal, but I'll also aid you in whatever path you choose. In fact, I can already offer you a chance to claim great strength, and to break free from a certain bondage you don't even realize you're chained to. What do you mean? Naruto asked cautiously. Remember when I mentioned Ashura and Indra's conflict carrying on even after their deaths? Their souls continue to reincarnate in those who share their bloodline. Ashura has reincarnated into you. Right now, his presence is small, barely noticeable. But as you grow, his influence will twist your decisions, guiding you down paths that aren't yours but his. If you let it continue, you'll become nothing more than his puppet. Her eyes gleamed as she leaned closer. I can sever that bond. Not only that, I can take his power for you. The same goes for Indra. It will take time, years in fact, but in the end, his strength will be yours and his chains will be broken. Naruto clenched his fists. All my life, I've suffered because of them. If they think I'll just be their pawn, then I'll shatter those chains myself. I won't be anyone's slave. I'll take my freedom with my own hands, and if that means seizing power, then I'll do it. I'll become so strong that no one, no matter who they are, can ever bind me again. Gremory smiled knowingly. She had chosen well. Forest of Death Naruto, age 6 a year passed since that night. Naruto had officially sealed his contract with Gremory, binding her as his familiar. From that moment, the Demon Duchess had guided him directly, lending her strength and wisdom. She shielded his mind from outside influence, taught him advanced chakra theory, and introduced him to knowledge far beyond what Konoha could offer. Naruto absorbed her lessons with relentless hunger. To him, knowledge was power and power was freedom. But both he and Gremory quickly realized that Konoha was a cage. His every move was watched, his training restricted, his potential shackled. That was when Gremory proposed another path. Away from the village's eyes, in the wilds of the Forest of Death, a place brimming with ancient power. Tonight, Naruto had slipped inside, guided by her voice. "What's so special about this forest?" Naruto asked aloud as he walked, knowing only Gremory could hear. "Why is it different from the others?" "This land sits on converging streams of natural chakra," Gremory explained. "When such energy gathers in abundance, the plants and animals change, mutating into more dangerous forms. But this forest holds something else, something even rarer. Residual primordial energy. That is what we're here for." Naruto raised a brow. "Primordial energy, how's that different from chakra?" "It is the foundation of all energies, the source from which everything else, chakra, life, even worlds themselves, was born. Normally, you wouldn't find such energy in raw form. But this forest, I suspect something unique here has allowed it to remain. If my theory is right, its heart is where the concentration is strongest." Naruto continued deeper, then smirked. "And you're sure this ancestor of mine is still alive? Not doubting you, Gremory, but immortality isn't exactly common." "True," Gremory admitted, "but she is not like most. Even among the Uzumaki, she was exceptional. She sought answers through discipline, knowledge, and mastery. She climbed to heights that caught the attention of the divine. When challenged by goddesses themselves to conquer Dun Scaith, a realm even demons hesitate to tread, she not only survived but claimed victory. For that, she was granted immortality. Her name is Scathach," Naruto chuckled. "Sounds like you're afraid of her." "Afraid?" Gremory snorted. "Number terrified, yes. Understand this, Naruto. Scathach killed 7 high-ranking Utsutsuki before she even touched divinity. Even the kings of hell avoid her wrath. But she has been known to train Uzumaki who find their way to her. The traditional path to her is closed, but I believe there's another way." Just as she finished, Naruto stepped into a vast cavern. A shaft of light poured through an opening in the ceiling, illuminating the heart of the forest, and something that caught both his and Gremory's attention. "Wait, is that a horn?" Naruto muttered as he approached the strange object. What lay before him was a shattered, pitch-black horn laced with crimson streaks, pinned into the ground by a sword of obsidian metal etched with glowing red lines. The weapon gave off an eerie mechanical impression, as if alive. "This doesn't look like anything from Konoha. I've never seen anything close to this." "Of course you haven't," Gremory answered, her tone a mixture of surprise and recognition. "It doesn't belong to this world. That blade is Excalibur, a weapon of extraordinary power. It devours energy and reshapes it into pure destruction. I had wondered for centuries what became of it. Last I knew, it vanished during a clash between 2 godlike warriors in another realm. To see it here, tied together with Barghest's horn of all things, now the puzzle begins to make sense. Its form has changed, though. Prolonged exposure to the horn must have altered its nature, adopting traits of the primordial hound of destruction." Naruto gripped the black sword, astonished by its weight, or rather, its lack thereof. "Whoa, this is way lighter than I thought. Guess that's the magic talking. But what's a Barghest?" "A primordial beast," Gremory explained patiently. "One of the first entities birthed when this world was still forming. Unlike tailed beasts, they weren't sealed creations. They were natural manifestations of raw primordial energy, capable of generating it endlessly. Barghest was among the most feared of them." She watched Naruto lift the horn into his hands. "This entire forest rests upon its remnant. Around 7 centuries ago, Barghest must have been slain. Her body was locked away, leaving only this horn behind. That's why the land is saturated with this power. It's bleeding from that relic." Naruto blinked. "So you're telling me this whole forest grew out of just one horn? If that's what a fragment can do, what would the full beast have been capable of?" "Imagine the 9 tails that night in Konoha," Gremory replied coolly. "Now imagine something far worse, scorching everything within 100 kilometers. That is what Barghest could have done." She paused, then smiled faintly. "But this works in our favor. With this horn, we can fuel the ritual to send you to Dun Scaith. Now listen closely. Here is what you must do. Land of Shadows, Dunscaith, Castle of Scathach. Moments later, Naruto found himself hurled out of a dimensional portal, crashing unceremoniously into the stone courtyard of a vast fortress. Groaning, he staggered upright, brushing himself off with a scowl. You could have at least mentioned how much that would hurt, he complained. For a first attempt at interrealm travel with no training, you did remarkably well, Gremory countered sharply. Pain was inevitable. We had little to work with and could not prepare properly. All things considered, this was a resounding success. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, Naruto muttered, looking around. Honestly, I expected the Land of Shadows to be, well, darker. A word of caution, traveler, never judge a realm at first glance, came a regal voice from behind. Naruto spun around. Standing before him was a woman of breathtaking presence, long violet hair cascading over her shoulders, crimson eyes gleaming, her form wrapped in a sleek violet bodysuit. In her hand rested a crimson spear, radiating menace. Naruto instinctively bowed. Forgive me, I didn't mean to intrude so carelessly upon your lands. Raise your head. The woman studied him with calm intensity before asking, Tell me, young one, what is your name? I am Naruto Uzumaki, he replied respectfully. A flicker of surprise crossed her face. So, and Uzumaki still walks the living world, I am Scathach, sovereign of this domain and keeper of Dunscaith. Once I too bore the blood of your clan. But tell me, why do you stand here? None have come so young. Most endure the trials of this land before reaching me, yet you appear at my gates by crude passage. I would have thought your elders, or even your parents, would forbid such recklessness. Naruto hesitated, then asked carefully, May I ask, Lady Scathach, how long has it been since you've received a visitor from the Uzumaki clan? You need not call me queen, she corrected. And as for your question, time here flows by my will, independent of your realm. I cannot give you a neat answer. But your words stir unease. Tell me, Naruto, what became of our clan? Naruto's shoulders sagged. That is a long story. Scathach conjured 2 chairs with a simple gesture, taking one and offering the other. Then sit, we have eternity if need be. Thank you. Naruto sat, gathering his thoughts before recounting the tragedies, the rise and fall of his clan, the fate of his world, and his own suffering at Konoha's hands. When he finished, Scathach's gaze was heavy with sorrow. So our clan met ruin after all. A fate not uncommon in the era of endless wars, yet it still wounds me to hear. I had feared the shinobi system would consume us, as it consumed Mito. But what enrages me most is the cruelty you endured, Naruto. To be scorned and used for the greed of others. Her voice hardened. You have my deepest sympathy. If it is your wish, you may remain here, safe within my realm. I will see to it that no one from Konoha ever touches you again. Naruto bowed gratefully. Your kindness means more than I can say, Lady Scathach. But I didn't come to beg for shelter. Gremory told me of the privilege you grant, the chance to be trained by you. I may be unworthy, the son of a traitor, and nothing compared to those who came before, but please, give me the chance to prove myself. He knelt deeply before her. Before he could finish, Scathach gently lifted his chin, meeting his eyes with warmth. Stand, Naruto. She rose with him. Many who came here boasted of their strength, treating my tutelage as a prize. They failed, but you humbled yourself. You've endured pain without breaking, and still you stand. That courage, that resolve, I deem it worthy. So hear me now, I accept you as my apprentice. Naruto's eyes widened. Thank you, Shishu. A rare smile touched her lips. Most I train for a handful of years, but with you I will make an exception. 8 years. I will grant you teachings I withheld even from my brightest students. But during that time, Gremory must not meddle with the soul of Ashura within you. She may resume once you return. Here I require you at your fullest. Naruto nodded earnestly. I understand, but if I spend 8 years here, won't everyone in Konoha notice when I return? Won't I be missed? Scathach shook her head. Time bends to my will here. 8 years in Dunscaith will pass as mere moments in your world. And as for your presence, your other education from Gremory will ensure you learn to mask yourself perfectly. Gremory chuckled. Oh, you can count on that. I'll make sure your clones are so flawless, no one will tell them from you. Naruto beamed. Thank you, Shishu. Please take care of me. I will, Naruto, she promised softly. 1 second in the shinobi world later, 8 years in the Land of Shadows. Naruto's age, 14. The very moment Naruto vanished from this world, a new rift cracked open where he had disappeared. Out stepped not a frail boy, but a young man, tall, lean, hardened. His attire was striking. A long, dark violet coat lined with crimson details, armored plates resting over a fitted black tunic, pants tucked into greaves, and gauntlets polished with shadowy steel. His face had grown sharper than Minato's, still bearing a clear resemblance, but tempered with something colder. His once bright hair was now a paler shade, messy and wild, and his eyes glowed with molten gold, marks of the grueling years under the legendary witch of the Land of Shadows. Naruto inhaled deeply, feeling the familiar air of the world he had left behind. "Home, sweet home," he murmured, closing his eyes as his senses stretched outward, mapping the chakra around him. A grin tugged at his lips. "No time to waste. Let's begin. Yang style, shadow clone jutsu." A unique clone appeared, shimmering with vitality, then transformed into Naruto's younger self and departed toward the village. With the Yang variation, no one will question that clone's identity. And because of our pact, everything it experiences will flow back to us, Gremory explained in his mind, her voice calm and calculated. That means we can focus freely on our own plans. First step, Mito's hidden cache. The funds inside will be essential for building the foundations of your ventures. Another voice cut in, rougher and edged with doubt. Barghest. With the strength you now wield, Naruto, do you really need to cling to Konoha at all? You faced Lady Scathach herself, and you held your ground against me. I can't see a single shinobi in that village standing as a true obstacle. Naruto's golden eyes narrowed. Maybe, but we've all learned there are threats far greater than ordinary shinobi. Against them, even I still fall short. I need more power, more preparation. Simply breaking free from Konoha isn't enough. The world doesn't end at their borders. His voice turned quiet, calculating. For now, it's better that Naruto Uzumaki, the one they think they know, remains where he is. Meanwhile, the real me builds what's coming. Gremory's voice softened. You still haven't told us what future you're truly reaching for. Surely you've thought it through. Naruto smirked. And I thought you knew everything, considering where you reside. I respect your privacy, she replied, almost teasing. Naruto chuckled under his breath. Then hear this, I'm done playing their endless shinobi games. They thought they could chain me down, make me their tool, their amusement. Fine, I'll turn their own game against them. His words dripped with conviction, leaving both Gremory and Barghest momentarily silent. Do you still dream of becoming Hokage? Barghest finally asked. It was always unlikely, the village will never allow it. Naruto laughed, low and dangerous. Then it's a good thing my goals are higher now. As he exited the cave, his senses sharpened. Something unusual pricked at his awareness. That feels like nature chakra, but inside a living person. Odd. I'll check it out. He slipped on a metal mask that matched his attire, covering his eyes, and darted toward the disturbance. From a perch above, he saw carnage, 5 ANBU lying dead. At the center crouched a grotesque figure. Part woman, part serpent, part dragon, feasting on the remains. Where others might faint in horror, Naruto only studied her, cold and curious. He had seen worse in the Land of Shadows. He had slain worse. This woman is pulling in nature chakra without sage training. It's warping her body and chakra system beyond recognition. His voice was detached, clinical. Her body burns through energy so fast she's forced to devour flesh just to survive. If it continues, she'll either collapse or lose herself completely. Neither fate suits her, Gremory murmured. If you wish, we can intervene. The choice is yours. The beast roared and lunged. Naruto didn't flinch. I don't know if you can understand me, he said as crimson chains erupted from his hand, lashing around the creature. But hold still. The chains pulsed with force, knocking her unconscious and ending her frenzy. Naruto knelt, examining her ruined form. Now, let's fix this. Hours later, Anko Mitarashi woke to the familiar ache of a nightmare survived, yet this pain was unlike anything she had ever endured. The hunger, the burning, the loss of control, it was all still fresh in her memory. She remembered everything. The cruel truth hit her. Konoha's shinobi had done this to her. Experimenting with Orochimaru's cursed seal, twisting it further, forcing her into a mutation that spiraled out of control. She had fled, hunted like prey, until her eyes snapped open. She was human again. No claws. No fangs. no hunger gnawing at her gut. She sat upright, realizing she was in a cave with firelight flickering off the stone. Beside the flames sat a young man with pale blonde hair, sharp features, and an aura that radiated quiet power. "You're awake," he said simply. "Anko Mitarashi, right?" She blinked in confusion. "In case you're wondering, you're alive. I stopped your transformation. That cursed seal is gone. Orochimaru won't be meddling with you anymore." His tone was steady, matter-of-fact. Anko's throat tightened. "And the ANBU, the ones I—" She couldn't finish the sentence. The memory of devouring them made her stomach twist. He met her gaze without judgment. "Yes, but that wasn't you. You weren't in control. Don't carry that burden." His words struck harder than she expected. "I couldn't erase all of the mutation. The seal had already changed too much, but I stabilized it. That's why you're still alive." Her suspicion flared. "And what else did you do to me?" Her eyes narrowed. "You didn't take advantage of me while I was out, did you?" She gestured to her own nakedness with sharp accusation. He raised a brow, unbothered. "I'm not that kind of man. My focus was saving your life, nothing more." Then, after a pause, "What I did was refine the mutation. Your body can now draw in nature chakra naturally without breaking down. You'll even feel it all around you. And there's more, your form can shift. If you want to see it, try activating the cursed seal the way you used to." Her pulse quickened. Warily, she did as instructed. Chakra surged through her veins, but instead of agony, a euphoric rush swept over her. She grew taller, stronger, hair spilling long and violet down her back, eyes gleaming the same hue. Scales of black and gold rippled across her limbs, claws forming at her hands and feet, a sinuous tail unfurling behind her. Once such a change would have filled her with terror. Now it felt natural, liberating, like breathing. She flexed her clawed hand, staring at her reflection in the fire's glow. Then her gaze shifted back to the mysterious young man, who calmly tended the flames as though this transformation was nothing extraordinary at all. "Gibalg, hunt them down." With the spear's name invoked, a crimson streak erupted from its tip, racing forward like a curse, piercing through the hearts of every Hyuga within the seal's boundary. The final elder collapsed last, his body falling before he could react, and with his death the barrier shattered. Naruto rushed forward, relief on his face quickly morphing into horror. "All right now too, Kami, what did they do to her?" His voice cracked as he stumbled to Hinata's side. Her pale body trembled violently, streaked with black and red veins that pulsed beneath her skin. Her eyes, once pure Byakugan, were marred, replaced by crystal-like fragments radiating a suffocating darkness. "This is far worse than expected." Gremory's voice carried a grim weight. "Those wretches embedded shards of the crystal into her body. They intended to make her compatible for the larger core. The fragments are already fused, there's no way to cleanse them. She's being remade into something closer to a demon. The human within her is fighting back, tearing her apart from inside." Naruto clenched his fists. His mind worked rapidly, searching for a solution. If purification isn't an option, then finishing the ritual is the only chance. But if we force the crystal in, that flood of negativity will shatter her mind completely. "Unless," Gremory countered, "we strip away the venom, siphon the malice itself. Even so, Hinata's spirit is fractured already. What they did to her has left deep scars." Naruto cursed himself for not arriving sooner, guilt burning through his chest. But Gremory's voice cut sharp in his mind. "Now is not the time for self-pity. Decide." Naruto's eyes hardened. "We save her, no matter the cost." He seized the crystal with steady hands. "Tell me what to do." Hours later, for the first time in what felt like endless torment, Hinata woke without agony clawing at her every nerve. No searing pain, no chains pulling her soul apart. She breathed freely, blinking as light returned to her sight, and tears welled in joy at the miracle of simply being able to see again. But the elation faded as realization settled in. She was no longer who she once had been. Her body, her spirit, her very essence, everything had shifted. Shyness, fear, and hesitation seemed washed away, replaced by a fiery will, confidence, and emotions amplified tenfold, especially her feelings for Naruto, now burning brighter than ever. Her mind felt sharper, matured, yet carrying an odd blend of innocence and strength. And her body, she caught her reflection in a nearby pond. No longer a frail girl, but a woman, her form fully grown, her curves accentuated. Ruby eyes glowed back at her, pulsing with power akin to Byakugan yet far darker. Her skin, pale as porcelain, contrasted with flowing snow-white hair. To her surprise, no dread rose in her heart at the sight. Instead, she felt exhilaration, wholeness. She loved this change. When she finally turned, Hinata saw them, two figures nearby. The man's presence was unmistakable, even cloaked in exhaustion, Naruto. He sat slumped, chest heaving with heavy breaths, utterly drained. "Naruto-kun," she whispered, marveling at her new voice, drawing both his and Anko's attention. "You're awake." Naruto's tone was weak but filled with relief. "I'm glad you're alive, Hinata. Forgive me for coming so late." His words were ragged, his weakness sparking a surge of protective fury in Hinata. She stepped toward him, only for Anko to block her path. "Hold up, girl. You've just gone through hell." Before Anko could finish, Hinata's hand shot out, lifting her by the throat with terrifying strength. Her crimson gaze burned with bloodlust. "Stay away from Naruto." Black-red energy coiled around her, writhing into monstrous appendages as she prepared to tear Anko apart. "Hinata," Naruto's single command cut through her fury like a blade. She froze, eyes locking to his. "Let her go, Anko is precious to me, as precious as you." His words pierced deeper than any crystal shard. Hinata's rage dissolved instantly, shame overtaking her as she released Anko, who collapsed coughing. I'm sorry," Hinata whispered, horrified at herself. Struggling to his feet, Anko rasped out between coughs, "Damn kid, you nearly crushed me." Naruto wasn't kidding when he said you're not human anymore. "Not human," Hinata murmured, glancing again at her altered form. "Then what am I?" A smooth, familiar voice echoed in her mind. "Greetings, Hinata Hyuga. I am Gremory, Duchess of Knowledge. Through Naruto's seal, I can speak to you directly. I will explain all if you can bear with me." In what felt like an eternity compressed into moments, Gremory shared the truth. And when it ended, Hinata turned to Naruto, her lips curling into a radiant smile. "Naruto-kun, you saved me, again." Her voice brimmed with warmth and love. Naruto looked at her with searching eyes. "Are you not unsettled by what have become?" She shook her head firmly. "No, what I feel now is clarity. I want to fight at your side, Naruto. If you oppose Konoha, then so will I. I am yours in every way." Anko frowned. "That's a little fast, don't you think? I had my reasons for turning my back on the village, but your clan betrayed you, not the whole leaf." "They hurt Naruto, they hurt you, and my clan, my blood, hurt him too. I'll never forgive them." Hinata's voice wavered with anger, then softened with tenderness. "I don't want to be like them. I want to be who I am now with Naruto. If he'll have me, I'll give everything to him." Naruto's eyes searched hers deeply. "Hinata, is this truly what you want? Not from guilt or duty, but your own will?" "Yes." She stepped closer, conviction blazing in her crimson gaze. "I am yours forever." Gremory's voice echoed within Naruto's mind. The shards reshaped her. She's bolder, more extreme, but also more open. She can blend in when needed, but her devotion is absolute. She could be a powerful ally in Konoha's shadows. Hinata, sensing Naruto's hesitation, pressed on. "Naruto-kun, you need someone loyal to carry out your vision. Let me be that person. Train me, use me, I'll prove my worth to you. Please, I want to belong to you." Naruto exhaled, then gave her a weary smile. "I accept you, Hinata." Her joy overflowed as she threw herself into his arms, lips locking onto his with desperate passion. Naruto responded instinctively, the two parting only when breath forced them to. "You'll need clothes," he muttered, flushed. "Does my body displease you?" she asked, vulnerable. "No," Naruto admitted honestly. "You're breathtaking, too much so, but you shouldn't have to feel exposed." Hinata giggled, leaning close, her hand brushing him boldly. "I don't feel exposed, Naruto-kun. If you're pleased with me like this, then I'm already happy. But if you'd like me to make you feel even better." Her other hand slid downward, her voice sultry, while Anko let out a low whistle. "And you said I was never subtle," Anko teased with a wicked grin, her tongue brushing across her lips in a way that left no doubt about her intent, while Hinata eagerly stood ready to give herself to Naruto. From that night onward, Naruto's world grew more complicated and far more indulgent. He didn't resist it. On the contrary, he embraced this new path. Hinata's loyalty at his side only made it sweeter. The Hyuga clan, however, only saw the aftermath of their failed experiment. Those involved had hidden the details so well that few were shocked when Hinata returned unchanged, as if nothing had happened. Outwardly, she seemed her usual self, no memories of what she had endured. Yet beneath the surface, the demon of darkness she had become was already spreading Naruto's influence through Konoha, nourishing his rise while also nurturing her own dark strength. 3 years later, Uchiha compound, Naruto age 17. "So you'll help me then?" Itachi asked quietly, standing opposite the masked man within the abandoned shrine of his clan. "I will," the man replied, voice steady. "But when it's over, you'll serve my organization." "As long as my little brother remains untouched, I accept," Itachi answered firmly. The masked man gave a small nod. "Then it's decided. We strike tonight. You'll handle the police station, yes. And ANBU won't interfere," the masked figure pressed. "They will not," Itachi assured him. The man vanished in a swirl of distortion, leaving Itachi alone, unaware that shadows nearby concealed another presence. Naruto stepped into the faint light, lips curved in a smirk. "So, Danzo and the council have set their pawn in motion," Naruto murmured. "I should thank Itachi for sparing Sasuke. Otherwise, I'd be forced to kill him for robbing me of Indra's next vessel. He's still planning to slaughter his clan. Perhaps you should intervene," Gremory's voice echoed in his mind, calm but pointed. Naruto agreed silently. Over 3 years, Naruto had built a hidden network of spies, informants, and agents, some beyond the village, many within it. To his surprise, the Uchiha clan itself had become one of his most fertile grounds. Hinata had proven invaluable in this, weaving influence like a true shadow mistress. She had uncovered those Uchihas disillusioned with Fugaku's rebellion, people weary of being treated as tools, yet unwilling to follow his reckless schemes. Nearly a third of the clan, Naruto discovered, were pragmatic enough to see reason. They sought only survival and recognition, and they pledged themselves to him willingly. He would not let them be wiped out for Konoha's convenience. Forming a hand seal, Naruto sent out a subtle signal. Moments later, a figure in police force garb appeared, bowing. "Lord Uzumaki," the Uchiha greeted. "What are your orders?" "The council has chosen to erase your clan," Naruto said coldly. "Itachi will be their blade tonight. Tatsuya, gather those loyal to me. Bring your families to the safe point before dusk." Tatsuya's face hardened. "So your warning comes true. After everything the Uchiha have given this village, they still treat us like dogs to be put down." His voice shook with rage. "Will you carry out this task faithfully?" Naruto asked. "You have my word," Tatsuya swore. He hesitated, then lowered his voice. "My lord, about my sister Makoto, she has chosen to remain with Fugaku no matter her own feelings. I know she has failed you as a godmother, but please," Naruto raised a hand, silencing him. "I'll see to her myself. Focus on your people." Relieved, Tatsuya bowed deeply before vanishing. Barghest's voice rumbled in Naruto's thoughts. "That was unexpected. You promised to protect someone of no use to you. Won't this risk everything?" "Practical? No," Naruto admitted with a faint smile. "But Tatsuya has earned my trust. His daughters care for Makoto. I hate making children cry." A ripple of killing intent entered the air as Anko emerged, clad in attire matching his own, her hair tied loosely behind her. "Back sooner than I thought," Naruto noted. "The deal went smoothly," she said with a grin. "Haruto and his allies are eager to side with us if you deal with the Namikaze clan's muscle. They even sent this as proof of their commitment." She handed him a scroll. Naruto scanned it, chuckling. Well, well, seems the main Namikaze family wants to replace their own puppet daimyo. How amusing. They killed the smarter heir, blocked his daughter, and propped up a fool. Now they're done with him too," Anko laughed bitterly. "These Namikaze really do love being the power behind the throne. What's the plan?" "Nothing yet. They won't act for years until their new pawn is ready. We'll pass this intel to the princess to strengthen our alliance." Naruto's smile faded. "But before that, Danzo and his root need to die." Anko's grin widened, her form briefly shifting under the strain of her other self. "Finally, I've been craving this fight, and we're not leaving any alive, are we?" "Not a single one," Naruto confirmed. She licked her lips. "You always know the perfect gift. Speaking of gifts, shall we bring Hinata? She's itching to spend time with you." A dark pool spread across the floor, and Hinata rose from it in her true form, clad in black traced with crimson lines. "Naruto-kun," she greeted with radiant devotion. You've saved me again. I left my clone to endure father's scolding and Neji's smirks, but she doesn't mind. Now tell me, my love, how may I serve you? Naruto met her gaze. We're ending Danzo Shimura and his army tonight. Will you stand with me? Hinata laughed sweetly, then her smile turned sharp, eyes glowing with anticipation. Must you even ask? To destroy your enemies with you, there's no greater joy. Root headquarters, hours later. As Itachi began the bloody culling of his clan, Root ANBU's underground halls were painted in carnage. Naruto, Anko, and Hinata carved through Danzo's private army like a storm of shadows and steel. Naruto might have ignored Root under different circumstances, but Danzo had grown too bold, sniffing around his operations, threatening to expose delicate dealings within Konoha. Hinata's intelligence had confirmed it, and Anko had never forgotten the torment Danzo inflicted on her. Together, they struck, merciless and absolute, ensuring no Root operative survived the night. Although Root functioned as a covert extension of the ANBU, who were supposed to represent Konoha's most elite warriors, Danzo's operatives were little more than paper soldiers when faced directly by the trio. By comparison, Naruto had undergone personal training beneath a goddess whose mastery spanned martial arts, sealing, weapon combat, and strategy. Anko's mutated body gave her scales tougher than steel, unnatural speed, and the terrifying ability to paralyze an enemy's chakra flow with a single glance. Hinata, on the other hand, under the guidance of Gremory, had transformed into something otherworldly. Her affinity with darkness turned her into a nightmare-given flesh, able to conjure spikes, forge creatures of shadow, and disperse her very being across the battlefield, so that her body was just one extension of a much larger, all-encompassing entity. The Hinata that once hesitated to strike was gone. Now she walked calmly through the chaos, her tendrils of shadow sprouting around her, crushing, tearing, and consuming everything they touched. Naruto and Anko both understood she could end the entire skirmish in a heartbeat, but she restrained herself. Hinata wanted to watch Naruto carve through their enemies with Excalibur's brilliance, savoring the elegance with which he fought. 5 Root operatives rushed Naruto at once, hoping to overwhelm him, but only created the perfect chance for him to cut them all down in one sweeping strike. His body blurred into a streak of darkness, vanishing from their eyes. In less than a heartbeat, he reappeared beside Anko, shaking crimson from his blade as the 5 bodies fell apart like discarded puppets. Hinata's delighted expression made it seem as if she'd just witnessed a grand performance. That's the last of them, unless any more rats are hiding, Anko muttered, scanning the wreckage. Then she smirked darkly. Though it looks like the biggest one is still burrowed away. Hinata giggled, playful yet venomous. Oh, he's here, just a little too shy to greet us. She raised her eyes upward, a wicked smile curving her lips. It's rude for a host to let guests fend for themselves. Come down. With a wave of her power, the beam above them shattered, forcing Danzo to leap into view. His face was twisted with irritation. Danzo Shimura, Naruto said, locking eyes on him. Took you long enough. A true shinobi only shows himself when it's time to strike, Danzo replied coldly. Clearly you've never learned that lesson, Naruto chuckled. We're Konoha-born, though you wouldn't know us. And while you were hiding, you lost every puppet under your command. To me, that doesn't sound like patience. It sounds like cowardice. Danzo's glare hardened as he peeled back the wrappings on his arm, revealing a grotesque collection of Sharingan embedded into his flesh. Their deaths were necessary for the village. They allowed me to study your abilities. And now, with this power, none of you will leave alive. Well, isn't he full of himself? Anko sneered, her body twisting into her monstrous Gorgon form. Shall I take the honors? At Naruto's nod, she lunged forward, her serpent-like hair striking and tearing Danzo into bloody fragments. Yet a moment later, Danzo's voice whispered behind Naruto. I remember you now. Orochimaru's discarded experiment, thought to be dead. He raised a kunai, preparing to stab, only to be engulfed by Hinata's shadows, his body crushed and devoured whole. Hinata tilted her head, feigning confusion as another Danzo materialized intact. Strange, I'm sure Anko killed him, then my darkness devoured what was left, and yet here he is again. Teleportation, Anko spat. Naruto shook his head. No, he truly died, and yet he returns. Danzo stepped forward, his gaze locking onto Hinata. That one is strongest. She will serve me. He unleashed Kato Matsukami, only to be instantly shredded into ribbons by Hinata's fury. You dare, she snarled, shadows flaring. I belong to only one man. Compared to him, you are nothing. Again, Danzo appeared, this time seizing Hinata and pressing a blade to her throat. Let's test your devotion. Strike me down and you kill her too. Do you have that resolve? Hinata only smirked. Naruto, however, raised Excalibur without hesitation, pouring destructive energy into its edge. She means more to me than this entire village combined, he declared, unleashing a devastating slash that obliterated Danzo and everything around him. A heartbeat later, Hinata reformed at his side, unharmed, her eyes shining with love at his words. That makes 4 times now, doesn't it? Anko muttered, narrowing her eyes. Hinata, notice anything each time he comes back. Hinata studied carefully, then smirked. Yes, each time, one of those eyes on his arm closes. Sure enough, Danzo reappeared on a high beam, another sharing and dulling shut. You're not Akatsuki and not with any other village, Danzo growled. Then are you tied to Madara Uchiha? Naruto chuckled lightly. The masked man, he's just another name on my list. As for why we came for you, you meddled where you shouldn't have. Danzo scowled, preparing to strike again, but Hinata's shadows bound him tight. You think restraint will stop me? He spat. Naruto smirked. Not restraint. Chains of crimson chakra erupted from him, piercing Danzo's chest. Energy surged, burning through Danzo's body as he screamed in agony. His cursed arm twisted grotesquely, sprouting bark-like growths before Hinata's darkness consumed the corruption. You, Uzumaki chains. Danzo coughed blood, horror dawning in his eyes. So you came to avenge your clan? Naruto leaned close, voice cold. I hadn't thought of that. But now that you mention it, it makes this even sweeter. With a vicious pull, his chains tore Danzo apart, scattering flesh and bone across the chamber. This time, nothing reformed. That's the end of him, Naruto said flatly, withdrawing his chains. But before silence could settle, a new presence emerged. Hinata's lips curled into a grin as she sensed it. Well, what timing. Lord Third himself has arrived. From the tunnel ahead, Sarutobai's chakra approached steadily. Shall we deal with him too, Naruto-kun? Killing him now would only work against us. We're finished here, let's go. Naruto's voice was firm as he turned away, the 3 of them vanishing into the shadows only moments before Hiruzen Sarutobai arrived with his squad of elite ANBU. Lord Hawkage, whoever did this is already gone, one ANBU reported nervously. No survivors other than us. Search the area, secure the perimeter, but stay cautious. The enemy could still be nearby, Hiruzen ordered as he surveyed the carnage. His expression was grim, his thoughts heavy. Could this also be the work of Itachi? Is his strength even greater than we feared? The old Hawkage silently questioned, unaware of how far from the truth he really was. By the next day, the entire village had heard of the Uchiha clan's destruction. All but Sasuke Uchiha had been wiped out, the blame falling solely on Itachi's shoulders. Meanwhile, any information about Root ANBU or Danzo Shimura was buried. The villagers were only told that Danzo had passed peacefully in his sleep. A quiet, dignified end for a man most regarded as one of Konoha's elder statesmen. None would ever learn of the darkness behind his mask. Across the land of fire, in cities and towns scattered far and wide, small groups of newcomers began to appear, families, wanderers, tradesmen, all blending seamlessly into the flow of daily life. Nobody paid them much mind, yet in truth, each was tied to Naruto Uzumaki. In a single night, he had planted hundreds of eyes and ears across the nation, while at the same time erasing the only man who had come dangerously close to unmasking him. Even then, Danzo had been blind to the depth of the shadows Naruto had spun around himself. 4 years later, Land of Fire, Naruto's true age, 21. All right, let's recap. Absorbed Ashura's power, secured the Forbidden Scroll, took over Gado's operation, tightened control of Uzu and the Land of Water, practically claimed the Land of Waves, saved Sasuke from himself more times than I care to count, and kept Hinata from killing Sakura more times than I care to admit. Naruto walked casually behind Jiraiya through a bustling town, lost in his own thoughts as they continued their search for Tsunade. Then Orochimaru had the audacity to rob me of killing the 3rd, slapped a cursed seal on Sasuke, And now I'm stuck tailing this degenerate hermit as he hunts for Tsunade Senju, who's probably drunk and broke 100 kilometers north. And let's not forget, he's been skimming money out of my wallet like a common thief. Tell me again, why am I even putting up with this? Because, if you didn't, it would look suspicious. You've spent years perfecting the act of the village's foolish outcast. Abandoning it now would ruin your entire design. Gremory's calm voice echoed in Naruto's mind. Besides, it's not as though you're short on money. Endure it a while longer. Anko was right. Sooner or later Sasuke will walk straight into Orochimaru's arms chasing power, and when that happens, you'll finally claim Indra's soul. Naruto sighed mentally. Tempting, but that would force me to shuffle half my other plans. The daimyo deal, for example. That much wasted effort would be irritating. He shot Jiraiya an annoyed look. Go on, old man. Run off to your brothels already. Almost on cue, Jiraiya stopped. All right, brat, I'll go meet a few informants about Tsunade. You go ahead and book us a room. Before Naruto could react, Jiraiya snatched a stack of bills from his frog wallet. And I'll be taking this. Hey, that's my hard-earned money, you perverted geezer. You can't just rob me blind so you can blow it all on booze and women, Naruto snapped, glaring. Aren't you supposed to be some best-selling author? Shouldn't you be rolling in cash? Still no respect for my art, huh? Consider this my fee for tolerating you and for teaching you anything worthwhile. Jiraiya smirked, pocketing the cash before wandering toward the nearest tavern, which also happened to house a brothel. Quit whining and find something else to do, kid. Naruto exhaled sharply as Jiraiya vanished inside. Unbelievable. This man is supposed to be a legendary Sannin, and yet he has less restraint than the average drunk. How this fool became a hero of the shinobi world is beyond me. You realize, beloved, that sounds a touch hypocritical, Barghest's voice teased. You're hardly celibate yourself. Not when Anko and Hinata keep you occupied. Together, no less. The three of you spent nearly an entire day locked away before you left, barely pausing to breathe. Naruto smirked. Difference is, they're my partners and I'm loyal to them. I don't drown myself in alcohol either. And let's not forget, you and Gremory enjoyed watching that little performance more than you'd like to admit. And we plan to join in soon, Gremory purred. When we do, you'll need an entire week just for us. Naruto was about to respond when a mental tug pulled at him. Hinata's voice rang through their bond. Naruto-kun, forgive the intrusion, but something significant just happened in the leaf. Itachi Uchiha and his partner, Kasame Hoshigaki, appeared in the village searching for you. They were confronted by Kakashi, Asuma, Kurenai, and Might Guy. Kakashi has fallen into a coma, and though the intruders escaped, Sasuke encountered his brother. Naruto pinched the bridge of his nose, irritation seeping in. Tell me, Hinata, did that fool try to throw his life away again? I assume he's alive, if barely. Correct. From what I've heard, they're heading in your direction now. Do you want Anko and me to intercept? Naruto considered. Tempting, but no. I'll handle them myself. Thank you for keeping me updated. His tone softened. I'll make sure to repay you properly when I return. You always bring the greatest gift yourself. Though I wouldn't mind a small present in advance, Hinata teased slyly. Naruto chuckled. Hinata, I can't let you kill Sakura yet. As much as she grates on me, her existence still serves a purpose for now. But once Sasuke's part is finished, she'll be nothing more than wasted space. Until then, how about we spend an evening at that private hot spring you love? Just us. I'll rent the entire place. Hinata practically purred. I'll be counting the minutes, my love. Naruto smirked. Then I'll make sure the night is unforgettable. With that, their link faded, and Naruto turned his steps southward to greet the two Akatsuki who had dared cross into his path. A few miles to the south. Looks like we were expected, Itachi, Kasame muttered, eyeing the lone figure standing in the road. Cloaked in black, with a dark blade at his side and a mask concealing his eyes, the man waited calmly. Doesn't he seem familiar? Didn't some of the Zetsu clones mention a guy like this? They did, Itachi replied quietly. Stepping forward, his voice carried across the silence. You intend to stop us, Mao? Naruto, hidden behind the alias of the Demon King, gave a faint smile. Indeed, Itachi Uchiha, I'm almost flattered the Akatsuki themselves have taken notice of someone like me. I thought I'd slipped beneath your radar. Few escape our sight, Itachi answered evenly. Kasame, grinning wolfishly, stepped forward. Ah, now it clicks. This is that Mao, the so-called Demon King, pulling strings all across the land of fire and beyond. Rumor has it you even had a hand in ending Yagura's reign in the mist. Gotta say, I respect that. So I'll do you a favor, make this quick. Kasame hefted Samehada off his back, his killing intent thick in the air. Naruto didn't flinch. Bold words from the monster of the hidden mist. But tell me, can you really spare the time? Crossing blades with me here will only leave you weakened before facing Jirya of the Sannin. And that's without considering whatever pursuit the Leaf may have already sent after you. It seems your reputation is indeed well earned, seeing as you've already pieced together our intentions. Itachi remarked in his usual calm tone. Yet, by stepping forward in person like this, it seems we've obstructed you in some way, or rather, our actions threaten whatever you're planning. His deduction was sharp, earning a silent nod of respect from Naruto. And your name too carries weight, Itachi Uchiha. As you guessed, your involvement brushes against something I'm currently arranging. I'd appreciate it if you stayed out of it. Naruto responded with measured authority. So you also seek the Ninetales host, Itachi reasoned. If you know of our organization, then you must be aware of our abilities. I am, Naruto said plainly. I also know the scope of your ambitions to gather every tailed beast. Personally, I couldn't care less about that. But right now, I need Naruto, Uzumaki, and Jirya to remain free of your interference. That's the only reason I stand here. Kasame chuckled darkly, baring his sharp teeth. Oh, so the brat's more valuable than we imagined if even the so-called Demon King steps in for him. But here's the issue. You want him, and we want him too. That means we can't just let you walk away. Guess that leaves us no choice but to fight. He readied himself, but froze when a suffocating wave of bloodlust poured from Naruto, making even Kasame's grin falter. If it's a fight you're craving, I'd be more than glad to indulge you, Naruto said, resting a hand on his blade. Though maybe you should first ask yourselves, do you feel lucky? Well, do you? His smirk cut deeper than steel, and the sight alone made both men hesitate. That killing intent, it's worse than anything I've felt before, Kasame muttered, unnerved. Not even the boss shakes me like this guy does. Just what pit of hell did he crawl out of? One forged by mankind's own hands, Naruto replied smoothly. If I may, Itachi interjected, what exactly is your long-term plan concerning Naruto Uzumaki? Naruto shrugged casually. What you're really asking is if I want the Kyuubi inside him. For now, the answer is no. The boy and the fox serve a purpose to me this year. After that, they're of no use. When that time comes, they're yours if you can take them. I won't stand in your way. His words caught both Akatsuki members off guard. So, in short, you're saying the kid and his master are useful to you for now, and you expect us to back off, Kasame growled. And what's in it for the Akatsuki? You keep your ranks intact and avoid making me your enemy, Naruto said flatly. If your intel is as good as people claim, then you know how I deal with those I brand as enemies, no matter their wealth, power, or influence. Itachi and Kasame exchanged a glance before Itachi posed a final question. Then answer this. Was it you who slew Danzo Shimura and wiped out his root operatives 4 years ago? Naruto smirked. He stood in my way, so I removed him and his little private army. Do you intend to share his fate? That answer was enough for Itachi. Number Kasame, we're leaving. Without another word, the two turned away. Smart of them, Gremory remarked from Naruto's side. Though it might have been wiser to thin their numbers while you had the chance, given their obsession with the tailed beasts. Maybe, but in the grand scheme, it won't matter, Naruto replied. Their plan is doomed regardless. Even if I were to fall, they won't claim the 9 tails. Once I've restored you, their days are numbered. Now then, I believe I've earned myself a spring retreat. With that, he departed, while Itachi and Kasame vanished toward their own path. Honestly, Itachi, I didn't expect you to pull back so easily, Kasame said once they were alone. Even drained from earlier, you could have crushed him with Tsukuyomi. I already attempted it, Itachi admitted, surprising Kasame. He was unaffected, or rather, he didn't even acknowledge it. I suspect his mask shields him from Genjutsu, and his attire conceals his chakra flow from my Sharingan. So he was prepared specifically for us, Kasame muttered. He's not someone to toy with. Do you think the leader will buy this as a mission success? It was reconnaissance from the start. Meeting the Demon King and learning of his nature is more than enough to consider it a success, Itachi explained. It's clear now that his influence rivals, if not surpasses, Orochimaru's, but unlike Orochimaru, he has no interest in joining us. A month and a half later, the day after the failed Sasuke retrieval mission. Konoha. Useless idiot, he couldn't manage even one thing I asked of him. Sakura shouted bitterly, furious at Naruto's failure to bring Sasuke back. And then to abandon the village on top of that, I knew he'd quit eventually. She stormed down the empty evening street, venting her frustration aloud. Hello, Sakura. Startled, Sakura spun to find Hinata behind her. She let out a sigh. Oh, it's just you, Hinata. Sorry, I was just insulting Naruto-kun again. Hinata's tone was far too sweet, her smile oddly chilling. You said it, Sakura snapped. That fool broke his promise to me, let Sasuke slip away, and then ran off like a coward. All that talk about becoming Hokage and keeping his word, it was nothing but empty nonsense. Hinata's smile widened, though her eyes grew cold. You're half right, but tell me, why would anyone honor a promise made to someone as worthless and insufferable as you? Sakura blinked, stunned by the venom in Hinata's words. What did you just? Before she could finish, Hinata's shadowed presence engulfed her, revealing a side Sakura had never imagined. Oh, Sakura, you have no idea how long I've waited, Hinata whispered with a cruel smile, cupping Sakura's face with mock gentleness. You've always belittled my Naruto-kun, so quick to scream and strike at him. Do you know how many times I nearly ended your pitiful existence? But he still had need of you, so I restrained myself. Now I can do as I please, and I'll savor every second of it. With a sinister laugh, Hinata and Sakura vanished into the night, Sakura's future sealed in a fate far darker than mercy. Thanks to Naruto and Gremory, Hinata's mind had sharpened, her creativity twisting into something terrifying. And with Sakura as her target, she intended to surpass even her own imagination.